Hi, Rice here. We're going to use Excel to integrate a function, and I'm going to show you how to use just a basic if statement, and we'll do a little bit of math with it. So what we're going to do is take the yard lines here, and from there we're going to try and turn them into a series that goes from 0 to 100 instead of going from 0 to 50 through the negatives and then going to positive 50 and going down through the positives back to 0 like a real football field does. So instead we want to have something else. So I'm going to insert this and we're going to make a new column. So I just right clicked and inserted, and instead of yard line I'm going to go with field position. So I just gave a new name for it, and that's fine. And then I can click here to make it a little bigger. Now I can do any sort of math that I want by just saying I want to do this times G2. So times 2, I'll just multiply that by 2 to show you that functions work. So this is 50, negative 50, which is double negative 25. And all I typed in was the cell location, G2, and then I multiplied it by 2. So equals is really the key piece of this. If you start a cell with an equal sign, Excel knows that you want to do some math. So what I'm going to do now is get rid of that, because I don't really want that. And instead I'm going to say equals if, because I want to use the if function, and my logical test is the next piece. You can see here it's trying to help me with if. I could click here and get some help, but I already know what I want to do. So I'm going to say if logical test. I'm going to say if G2 is less than 0. And so then I'll do that, and the value of true in double quotes I can write true, and then another comma in double quotes I'll write false. I guess that's capital. That's fine. So there you can see that it evaluates this statement to true. The logic statement was, is G2 less than 0? And in this case it is, so it will return the value if true. I wrote true, and the value of false it would give would be false. So in this one cell it's not that helpful because this is always going to be true, but if I can get down to here we'll see that some of them show up false. So I'll highlight this, hover over the little box and drag down, and you can see these ones that are positive, they come up as false. So that's useful, and we'll see that this works. Now instead of true and false, I would rather have it give me the field position. So for true, what I'm going to do is put in another function. I'm going to say absolute value of G2, and it'll give me a function there. Now in this case, I'm going to take, and instead of doing anything else, or instead of writing another function, this absolute value one is just going to give me the absolute value, which is really nice. And so that's its own function. If I click in here, you can see there's help for what this does, and all it needs is a number to give an absolute value for. But for this, I'm going to make another function in this equation. I'm going to say that this should be 50 minus G2, and then I'm going to add 50 to that. Now 50 minus G2 is a little weird if I do negative 25, because that would be like 50 plus 25. However, it's never going to do that because this is the false statement, or the false consequence of this initial logic test, right? This is only going to do it for positive numbers. So if a number like 10 here, or if 6 is the thing that goes in, 6 is not less than 0, so then it gets this treatment if it's false. So 6, it would be 50 minus 6, which is what, 44, and so 44 plus 50 would be the 94 yard line. So what I would expect to see down here would be 94. Whoops. I'm going to Control Z, put that back. And so now you can see that this negative 25, it was negative less than 0, so it came out as positive 25, just absolute value. And if I drag this down, 6 turned into 94, just like we had predicted. So that's the function that I want to have to get my field position. That's a useful expression for us, and I'm going to just drag this all the way down through all of this data for Jackson. And sometimes, whoops, I'll go back up here, make sure this works right. Hover over, make sure that the cross is black, and that's fine. Then we drag it down all the way. For any of these that have nothing, it sort of sees that as a 0, and so you can see it jumps it to 100, which isn't really bad for our purposes. It doesn't, it doesn't hurt anything. I could go through and delete those if I wanted to, because I don't really have yard data. yardage data, but that works. And so this is a first example of how you can put a function into Excel, and hopefully it's useful. Thanks. Bye.